In every generation, one is chosen to enter a dimension very few have experienced. This is a time where mystery knocks at your door and desires to be known and revealed.
We are a company which already processes billions of dollars in transaction throughput. And it's at scale, it's already working. And a lot of banks, you are adopters of Ripple, both our traditional solution that works with banks, and of course, our digital asset, which is essentially XRP.
Good evening, everyone. My name is 𝗕𝗷. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of UAE Exchange. So we are exactly opposite of Ripple. We are a consumer company. So UAE Exchange is part of a larger group or a network of brands, which includes some of the renowned brands like Travelex, Express Money, Remit to India, and off late we've also floated another brand called Ditto, which is a digital bank in France. So we, as a group, we are into three major businesses. We're into money transfer, foreign currency exchange, and payment solutions. So there lies the clue of what we are actually doing with Ripple.
Mathematicians won the war. Mathematicians broke the Japanese codes and built the A-bomb. Mathematicians, like you. The stated goal of the Soviets is global communism. In medicine or economics, in technology or space, battle lines are being drawn. To triumph, we need results. Publishable, applicable results. Now, who among you will be the next Morse? The next Einstein? Who among you will be the vanguard of democracy, freedom, and discovery? Today, we bequeath America's future into your able hands. Welcome to Princeton, gentlemen.
That's why today we announced our payment services division, which is super exciting, by the way. We're very big on this. People don't know that. We're going to be investing $20 billion over the next few years in technology and digital. It's about $5 billion total per year, and of that, $2 billion is in digital. So the run the bank and transform the bank versus the investment for the future is quite a healthy ratio. And in terms of scale, by the way, we're right up there with the biggest banks in the world. So we'd be 4th or 5th in the US, depending on how you measure that. So we have enough scale to invest across the group, which is one of the ways, that we're aiming to work more for the countries like the US or other countries where we don't have, the profitability we want. So we're going to really take advantage of our size globally.
Hi, I'm Tim Wan, Director of Innovation here at ATB Financial in Canada. We're the 9th largest financial institution here in Canada with $43 billion in assets. We were the first Canadian financial institution to move real money to real FI across the ocean in near real time. We couldn't have done that without a pure SAP digital core banking platform. And we couldn't have done that with great partners such as Raiza Bank and Frank Bobarak, who's the head of product there, and Ripple. Where that transaction from us to that German bank, Raiza Bank, may have taken 2 to 6 business days in the past, it takes an average of 8 seconds. I'd love to introduce you to my friend, Frank Bobarak at Raiza Bank in Germany. Frank came to visit us here in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and we went to Banff and had an incredible party and an incredible time. But now that the party's over, I actually owe him $1,000 Canadian. And I'd love to show you how that we send it to him right now. I have $1,000 Canadian loaded at a rate of 1.47 Canadian with a receiving fee of €1. And that'll end up as 679 euros and change. Does that sound okay to you?
That sounds quite good.
So I'd love to send that. And now the payment's executed. Let's take a look at what's happening on the Ripple Connect platform on Raiza Bank's administrative dashboard. And it's settled.
Yes, and I can give confirmation that the payment has been received and is settled. The money has arrived in Germany. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it takes 8 seconds, is that correct?
Yes, instead of 4 days. Great.
And then we also have received confirmation here that payment has been sent and Frank has received it.
Here's the email which states that the amount has been processed at Raiza Bank.
Ripple provides a great platform for vertical integration. An opportunity to seize the moment today and to do something tangible and real with this technology.
I guess what I've seen is a lot of hunger for finding some way to get involved in the space from banks, from central banks. Ripple ran a central bank conference that brought in central bankers from all around the world. I spoke at that last year, and there was an incredible level of education and interest and excitement. Multiple central banks have done pilots. Ripple's done them with Bank of England and Saudi Arabia Central Bank. So I think there's an elevated level of interest that at least gives you, instead of just being sort of something that people are afraid of and it's relegated to like a back room, if you can do something interesting, it can also get elevated. And I think it's been an amazing success case that, Ripple has more than 100 banks signed up. They have, 70 with active commercial deployments in various stages. And then along this path, some of the ones like MoneyGram and Western Union are really interested in the crypto aspect of it. So the blockchain solution is the one that's adopted by more banks. And so that's basically becoming a competitor to SWIFT in their regions of the world where, a lot of banks are joining in, like the Saudi Arabia Central Bank is doing a trial right now. So I think that's like super exciting.
Amazon has to figure out how to disperse funds to vendors in 185 countries. Amazon only does disbursements in 19 currencies, which in and of itself is a huge effort for them. That means tons of integrations into different banks. That means employing literally hundreds of people within Amazon to work on payments. That's true. We've talked to people in Uber. We've talked to people in Airbnb. These are not payments companies.
New companies like Amazon and Uber need a seamless global experience. They don't want to integrate with a new API or 3 different mobile payment companies in every country that they want to communicate with. They need fast payments.
Is that we did a lot of research in terms of what was broken with the financial system and the payment system, and we went out and visited with Uber and Airbnb and Google and the others, and what I realized is that these firms, we think of them as tech firms, but a large part of what they do and the value they provide are payment. Amazon, for example, has 206 different payment connections to facilitate merchant payouts for their platform. And so, they're pushing innovation. And I don't think that they should be in the payment business. I think that they should use, other technologies instead of, and focusing on what they're really good at. And so, their role right now has been to push innovation, and I think that's a good thing. But in the future, we're hoping that there's other solutions like the ones Ripple provides so that they don't have to get in that business. The way that these companies move money today is essentially they become their own payment company. And they're out there integrating, as depicted on this picture, hundreds of systems around the world. Amazon, 200 people in Seattle just working on payments. Uber, again, hundreds of people working on payments. And our vision is, well, why don't you focus on transportation or connecting hosts and guests, and integrate a standard API that allow you to access the world in terms of cross-border payments. And this is a vision that we've been working on for the last 5 years. We want to bring this together in the next year to enable corporates to move money across our ecosystem.
we focused on the cryptography, and we recreated an internet model, and we recreated an IP protocol, which we call ILP, and then we used that technique to create a network which is infinitely scalable, like the internet, which is kind of, we're working with about 120 banks around the world, and we've gone for the infrastructure day one, and that's really brought us a very long way. The prize is, you get this right, you change everything. It's transformational. To get there, so we're in a good place, but it's been a hard journey. The interesting point is the real kind of carrot to really make our customers want to do this with Ripple is the impact they have on their customers. So when we try to describe the impact to the internal organization, it doesn't really fire people up, because you're looking at how you can manage your costs, manage your internals. It's not the same thing as saying to a CEO they can transform how they go to market, they can change how they appeal to their customers. They can do many, many things they couldn't do beforehand. So I think it's concentrating on the end customer, the end experience, that really fires people up. And if customers and banks can look at this in terms of the vision, the prize in this journey, there's much more energy than just looking at it in terms of a spreadsheet or an ROI and getting into some very low scale stuff. So it's worth aiming high.
I'm going to ask you the question that they all want an answer to, particularly from the two banks. How long are we talking? So, before we actually see, financial institutions using blockchain technology to do processes?
Now. It's here. Yeah, our banks processed our first $1 billion this month, and since we launched, and we'll quickly do our second and third and fourth, and the network's building. Every day, people transact over Ripple, 2 seconds from Japan to Thailand, I don't know, Sweden to the USA. So the message I have is, careful with this stuff, because it's real. This is not out there 5 years on. It's happening, and like frogs being boiled in water, if you're not careful, it's too late to jump. The world's moved.
XRP and to help develop and help. We really look at the market makers as partners. We really want them to be very active in a lot of places so that all of our banks that are using our software can access liquidity through those different market makers in all those different countries. We have a lot of financial interest coming to this where people want to invest in it. Institutionally, I feel like the institutions are just waiting with their faces in the window trying to get into this thing and waiting for some of these important issues around custody. I think there are important accounting issues as well in terms of banks and the way that they count the assets that they hold in their books. Capital requirements are so important to banks, some more than others. If this doesn't get counted as capital because their accountants because GAAP accounting doesn't yet allow for that, that's also, I think, a hindrance to this industry. But I think that those things do get solved sooner rather. When are there more futures contracts beyond Bitcoin, right? When does it expand to Ether? When does it expand to XRP and Litecoin? Those most traded assets. And I think that's going to start to create lots of potential financial markets that go well beyond being long or being short or being long the future or short the future, puts or calls, whatever you want to think about it. I mean, that's going to enable products such as lending products, right? Banks sell off their risk by being, by essentially being short something or long something over the long term with contracts going out with currencies right now. They can't do that with crypto, but they will be, once they're able to do that with different types of crypto, then there'll be different kinds of lending products out there because they're able to hedge off that risk.